I kept shitting myself at random times, and it came from nowhere. So at the start of this year, I was having episodes of incontinence where I could not control my bowels. I went to the hospital, and I was in and out of hospital all summer, and they could never diagnose me. First time I went to the hospital, it turned out I had a blood infection, and they couldn't figure out the source of what was going on with my gut or my bowels. So they put me on a bunch of medication, which made me better while I was on it. They then sent me for some more testing. So I went for some more testing. I got my scope. Nothing came up. I then got sick again, went back to the hospital, got sent for a different scope. Nothing came up. Then the exact same thing happened, and I spent a week in the hospital where they ran extensive tests on me, and they could still not figure out the source of what was causing the problems. So I done some digging myself, and I thought originally it was something to do with my diet, so I changed that. Turned out I was wrong. Then I thought it was something else, and it wasn't. I landed on that it was due to unresolved trauma, and this trauma was and is affecting my life in ways no one could ever imagine. It affected my personal relationships. It affected how insecure I was for absolutely no reason. It affected my body, which gave me the weird illness, which is undiagnosable. And it affected my mental health, as well as affecting a lot more things. So the biggest point of research for me at the moment is about trauma and its effects not only on the mind but on the body. And this is the point of this video, is how trauma affects your physical health, right? The reason this is such a huge point of research is I believe that I could, the rate at which I was losing weight was something that's unheard of, unseen. And I was already light enough. I was on a bulk. Because I'm very light. I'm very just light in general. And, losing too much weight can actually be a very bad thing for you. Like I could have been, and I was bordering on anorexic in one stage. Thankfully, I've put it all back on, right? And then another reason is I believe most people do have unresolved trauma and trauma of some sort. Something that's happened to them in their life that they still hold, right? And I believe it is the most important step in anyone's self-development journey. Because curing trauma will make you a loving partner who doesn't have poor mental health, who doesn't have insecurities, and traumatized people tend to traumatize others and push others away. A lot of people have traumatized their kids without realizing that they are even traumatized themselves. It's that simple, to be honest with you. And the book I'm reading at the moment is The Body Keeps the Score. I'll show you the book. Should have said the book I just finished. The Body Keeps the Score. It's by Bessel van der Kolk. And it's about brain, mind and body and the healing of trauma. Very interesting book. I would recommend a read. Another read I would recommend is Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving. Yes? Okay, good. So in this book I learned that experiencing trauma causes the body to produce adrenaline, to produce cortisol, activating what should be normal protective processes, which is the flight, fight, freeze, and fawn response. So people with trauma, they regularly activate these. Cortisol is high, which lowers your testosterone. Adrenaline is high, which in and of itself will put you in fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. Right? Most people don't know about that fourth one. Unresolved trauma or unresolved traumatic experiences can stimulate these responses even if there is no threatening situations. So let's give an example here. Let's say someone has been brutally assaulted and they develop trauma as a result of it, right? Then anytime they walk down the road, they are triggered. They are triggered by that, and every person they see, they believe is going to attack them in some way, shape, or form. And then that's what brings their cortisol levels up. That's what puts them in the fight or flight mode. So basically what I'm saying, even if you're not in a threatening situation, you will feel threatened by anything that somewhat reminds you of your traumatic experience. And it can make people anxious or avoidant in their attachment style, and that can cause issues in relationships. But we're talking about the body today, so I will do another video, but I'm going to show you another book. So as I said, I'll do another video which talks about attachment styles and how to fix that. But the book I'd recommend you to read is Attached by Dr. Amir Levine. Really good book. Very good book. Right? But the main point of trauma that I've seen not many people talking about this, is how a trauma affects your body and how it's stored in the body. And I found this out reading The Body Keeps the Score. Right? And it can create autoimmune diseases. Look it up. It actually does create autoimmune diseases. And can give your body just issues that you wouldn't normally have if it wasn't for that trauma. You get me? Like having your body produce adrenaline and cortisol as well as being in fight or fight may be the reason that you do not have solid bowel movements, that your bowel movements are actually somewhat loose all the time. So now you're probably asking, what ways can you assist in curing your trauma, right? And what have I done, right? What have I done? So I'm going to give you actionable steps that I'm currently doing at the moment, which are going to benefit me and help in curing my trauma. So the first one, number one, when it comes to getting thoughts, don't allow the thoughts to be processed in your mind. The thought is most likely bullshit. And when it arises, push it down and stop it in the moment. So if you're getting any negative thoughts which make you think of anything in particular, notice that the thought is there, but no, not dealing with this thought. It's not true. It's bullshit. Get it out. Top-down conditioning. It's going to feel very uncomfortable, but you're changing it has something to do with neuroplasticity. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a neuroscientist. But what I do understand is that when the thought arises, no, just don't even don't even entertain that thought, if you get me, okay? What else? Number 2, rephrase the trauma in your brain. So you can change your memories. Did you know that? You can actually change your memories. Here's an interesting fact, right? So the more you retell a story, it changes, right? Story changes over time in your mind. So why not actually lie to yourself and change that memory yourself? So lie to yourself about what actually happened during that event. Or you can actually finish the story in your mind. In other words, right? Think about it and end the story where you resolve the issue in the end. So let's bring it back to the person who was assaulted, right? He developed trauma and now he can't move on from it. In his mind, make him finish the story. So if you're the person who has trauma because they were assaulted, finish the story. Be like Cody Rhodes in the WWE. Finish that damn story, boy. But how can you finish the story in your head? So just lie on your bed, visualize what actually happened. It's going to be very uncomfortable, right? Blink a lot, have some music going, think about that memory, and then think about, finishing the story. But yeah. So, yeah. Make sure you just resolve the issue in the end, you get me? Because the main issue is you can't forget a memory. Like, you can't forget something that has happened. A memory is a memory. It's always going to be there and something's always going to remind you of it. But it's about lessening the emotions surrounding that memory. Because it's not the memory that's giving you all this trauma and triggering responses in you that shouldn't be happening. It's the emotion surrounding it, the emotional attachment. So you can let go of that emotional attachment to that memory. Now, how can you fix it from the body, of course, as well? Just deep tissue massages, microneedling, what's that called? Should have probably thought about that. You see, I've only acupuncture. I actually didn't even put it down as one of the things on my list, but I thought of it on the spot. Acupuncture will help you. Massages. So then other ways, meditation. So how do you meditate? So you sit down with your legs crossed, hands on your lap, you close your eyes, and you breathe, right? But this is where it gets interesting, right? So you breathe, but it's about focusing on your breath. So you focus on the breath, so your attention should be on your inhale and exhale. And then your mind is going to wander. Think about something else. And you're going to... So step 1, focus on the breath. Step 2 is your mind wandering. Step 3 is noticing that your mind has wandered and that you're in thought. Step 4 is... So that's noticing. Step 4 is bringing it back to the breath again. Bringing your focus back to the breath again. That's how you meditate correctly. And that's one bicep curl for the brain, in essence, right? Simple as that. So focus on the breath, lose focus, recognize you've lost focus, bringing the focus back to the breath again. And just keep doing that every time you notice a thought. It's actually that simple. You're not going to believe it, but it actually is that simple. Right? So the next way to combat it is yoga. I've only just started this yoga thing myself, but it's a great way of releasing any stress or tension from your body, right? So I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I'm still figuring it out myself, but I'm going to send you somewhere to figure it out yourself as well. Search up on YouTube, Boho Beautiful Yoga. So that's Boho Beautiful Yoga. And follow along to their yoga videos to figure it out. So just follow along. You get me? Good person. And the final way to help yourself is actually just traditional therapy. Yes. I know. You're too good for that. I know. But try and find a therapist anyway. A good one that's actually good for you. That would be the best for you. And that way, you can get someone else to help you out with it. You could do CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. Or, what's the other one? EMDR is what it's called. Don't actually know what EMDR stands for. But it's about rapid eye movement. Yeah. Letting go of the past, EMDR. One of those two. It's about rapid eye movement and then them talking to you during it. If you want to learn more about it, read this or ask a professional. Because I'm not a professional. I'm just teaching you what I've done to cure my trauma. And look, in about 3-4 weeks, if this doesn't get better, I will be seeking professional help with it. And there's nothing wrong with that, to be quite honest with you. So try that. Try it. Put these things on your habit tracker for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Do them every day for 2 weeks. You can't do massages and shit every day for 2 weeks, but do it for 2 to 4 weeks. And get 1 massage a week if you can't afford it, 2 every other week. I try and aim for a sports massage every month anyway because of the gym and stuff. And next I'll be doing like this cupping thing, which is supposed to help with inflammation. Watch this space. I'll be back with a good video soon. Hope you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.